my beautiful Patreon family. Today's bonus episode is a fascinating interview with music doc filmmaker Denny Tedesco about his newest flick, The Immediate Family, who are to the 70s what the Wrecking Crew was to the 60s. Also, since having just aired Graham Nash talking about Deja Vu, The Immediate Family became the Crosby and Nash touring ensemble by the mid-70s, earning the road nickname the Mighty Jitters for reasons that we won't go into here. Here's just a few of the many things that Denny discusses with Discograffiti in this podcast. How his relationship with his dad, Wrecking Crew guitarist Tommy Tedesco, changed after his cancer diagnosis. The ways in which his newest doc, The Immediate Family, differs from his first, The Wrecking Crew. The cold, hard realities of making an independent film. The toxic relationship between Blaine and Kaye. His incredible upcoming music doc projects. And our mutual dream doc project. Without further ado then, here's Denny. Today's guest is making music documentaries about the greatest session musicians of each consecutive decade, either as a conscious career move or completely by accident. Lads and ladies, music history happens, and there he is, ready to chronicle the living shit out of it, Denny Tedesco!
Wow, that's crazy. I think you're a little nuts.
I'm only playing a character.
It's me too.
What's your character and what's the real guy?
I'm pretty much me.
Yeah?
Yeah. I just have fun.
All right, I'm going to come right out of the gate, man, with a heavy-hitting question that I'm guessing you have not been asked. But this is the million-dollar question, all right?
Yeah.
Seeing as you're apparently making a career out of filming session musicians at work, are you on a personal quest to understand your dad and just disguising it as a career?
No, but the first film cost me a lot of money. I just figured it was a lot of therapy I went through. That's how I feel.
Look, we're both filmmakers. The one takeaway that I have from making a film, especially a feature, is that when I go into making a film, I think I'm making it for one reason. And when I'm done making a film, it turns out there was a whole other reason for it.
Yeah. What you're saying is really right about my father. And the first film, for those who don't know anything about the Wrecking Crew, I started it when Dad was, my father, Tommy Tedesco, he was dying of cancer. And he was, this is 1996, in 97, basically, he passed away. But I wanted to tell the story of him and his friends called the Wrecking Crew. You know, it's funny, I just saw a tape the other day, the master tapes. I was looking at the master tapes. And it was originally called the West Coast Sound. And then, obviously Hal's book was out. And I just thought, you know what, let's go with it. But yeah, I think it was trying to, tell his story meant a lot to me. Growing up with it, no one knew about it. I mean, I barely knew about it. So I think where a lot of the interesting things came after he passed away, because then people tell you all kinds of things that he would never have told me, things about him. You don't come home and talk about something you did that day that was really special for someone else. And that was pretty cool.
I know your dad was obviously incredibly busy when you were a kid.
Yeah.
So at what age were you when things started to slow down and you were able to spend more time with him?
I would say probably late 70s, early 80s. I'm in high school, in college, and he's doing seminars. So I would go out and hang out at the seminars. They're also doing jazz gigs. He started playing jazz again in 77, 78, I want to say, in that era. That's when I started seeing him play guitar. I never saw him play guitar at home. That was not something he did. And then understanding as I got older what he was doing, on guitar was pretty, not that I'm a guitar player, but I could see the skill level of where he was at.
Did you get to spend an adequate amount of time with him after?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, it's funny because as much as we were very close, we were we push each other's buttons. I mean, like any relationship. I mean, it's funny because I really feel like he was my best friend, but boy, he pissed me off, like any parent would or any son would, but what happened is when he was diagnosed with cancer, I don't know if this is for a lot of people, when they said, he only had 11 months, I still remember there was never a fight again. Do you know what I mean? That all went away.
Thank God. That would be horrible if it was the opposite. So, even though you got to get some therapy in under the wire with the film, your dad didn't pass away remaining a mystery to you in any way.
No. But you know what's funny, and I'm sure this is for everybody. When they go, man, there's so much you want to know, especially when making that film. You know, when I started the film in 96, 97, whatever it was, and all of a sudden, you know, I'm learning things about him, learning things about other people. I wish he was around to say, hey, did that really happen with Leon Russell? Da, 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 da. You know, things like that I heard about, you know, and there's so much stuff you just can't. And that's why I tell people, tell your kids stories and ask your parents stories, because, you know, there's so much information. It's going to be gone once they're gone.
You know, what's crazy is I bought my mom this book, like get to know your dad, get to know your mom. I bought one for my mom and my dad, and I gave it to her. And a few weeks later, she got brain cancer. And then within 2 weeks, she was dead.
Oh, wow. That's horrible.
I mean, I don't even think she got to open the book.
It's weird because you don't, you know, it's things like that. I mean, it's just weird.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly am of the mind that ultimately, in some way, that people are kind of unknowable. I mean, like the true essence of people, I feel like stories can only tell you so much about who somebody really is. I mean, I'm currently staying with my dad, and I think in a lot of ways, he's still a mystery to me, even though I deal with him on a daily basis. He likes talking about mail and garbage and a lot of things that are very dad-like to talk about.
The mail was my dad's thing.
Was it?
My mom accused him of having an affair with the mailman. Because when he's retired, all he's waiting for was the mail.
What is it with old guys and mail? I don't get it.
That's true. I think it was about, you know, taking care of business. It really, you know, see where the checks were coming in or seeing if the bills were there. He really did. He wanted to, you know, if he wasn't going to be a musician, he would have been an accountant. That's what he was studying, and he was really good with numbers. And that's why I think he was an amazing reader of music. He was the best, and it was because of numbers. And I think he loved gambling. So between gambling and, you know, he just could nail the number. So what I'm saying is I think that all came together.
Yeah, I think my dad's only slightly more obsessed with garbage, but mail is a close second. It's, you know, that's really his mistress. So even though you had worked in film since at least the early 80s, but I'm guessing even earlier than that, has your career as a music doc filmmaker, has it been on purpose as this, like you're chronicling every decade of the behind the scenes guys? Was it an accident or is this by purpose? All right, that concludes your free sneak peek into today's Patreon episode. If you want to hear the rest of it, just visit patreon.com/discograffiti and either purchase this podcast by itself for $4, or better yet, subscribe at the major tier and get access to Discograffiti's 4 weekly episodes. That's Friday's free episode, the Sunday Discograffiti Soldiers of Sound episode, which showcases Patreon members and the Elephant Six world, your Monday bonus episode, and your Wednesday early release ad-free super extended director's cut of that Friday's show. Please keep in mind this is entirely how I support my wife and 6-year-old son, so don't risk feeling badly about yourself by not supporting Discograffiti. Become a member so you don't miss a single thing at patreon.com/discograffiti.